introductions to human design, one of the analogies that I used, and one that remains so deeply important, is that, here in the head center is the personality crystal, and here in the ajna center is the design crystal, and here in the G center is the monopole. And when you think about these things, the fundamental relationship between the design and the monopole, the builder of the body, that in this context, the design is the vehicle and the magnetic monopole is the driver. Now it's something to, think about. We're objects moving in space. It is one of the fundamental things of physics. And in these objects moving in space, we all have, in fact, a trajectory. That trajectory, in essence, this very movement, is what we call life. And within the context of the mechanics of the body graph, it is this relationship between the monopole and the design that is the engine and the force of the life. It is the life. You see, the mind is not the life. The mind, stuck out here at the top of the graph, outside of the body in a sense, this mind is a passenger. We are a passenger consciousness. We are a passenger consciousness in a vehicle. And we have to stop interfering with the correctness of that vehicle. Its natural ability to give us the life that is correct for us. If we stop interfering with our minds. You see, human design teaches a very, very simple mechanic. I've given you an example here that is one of the most common examples. Here is somebody that is a generator. Whenever you see this center, this sacral center colored in, the person is automatically a generator. And there's two types of generators. Pure generators, this happens to be a pure generator, and manifesting generators. Manifesting generators where the throat is also connected to a motor. But they are generators. Generators represent about 67% of the human population. In essence, they are the perfect beings, which is a big if, but if. Because you see, the generator is designed perfectly for this life. All they have to do is respond. Now it sounds very simple. All they have to do is respond. But what that means is that they're not here to initiate. And what I mean by that is that they're not here to initiate according to making decisions, to initiate a decision. The mind with its rambling going on and on. Well, I have to prove myself, so I'm going to do this thing or that thing tomorrow, and I'm sure those people are going to think I'm great. This kind of thing. No. See, to make a decision as a sacral being, it means that you have to be presented with a decision. It has to come to you. You don't go after it. It comes to you. Moment by moment, breath by breath, it comes to you. And you wait for it to come. Sacral beings are quite unusual. That is, sacral center has a voice. It makes sounds. You go up to a pure generator and you say to them, do you want to? And they go, And right away they don't want to. But you see, the moment that the generator is listening to their response, the moment that the generator is waiting for the potential of a decision to come to them so that they can respond, that's the moment that they are making decisions that are going to enhance the quality of their life and are slowly going to open up the doorway to transforming their mind. You see, you don't see. You don't see. And the only reason that you don't see is that instead of the passenger looking out the windows and truly seeing the movie, that the passenger is trying to get the attention of the driver in the vehicle, is trying to take control of the life, is busy calculating all the things that it needs to do, should do, must do. And you see, when your mind is busy with all of that mundane, banal stuff, all that decision-making, agenda thinking, it can't see anything. You see, when I look at a human being, I see two things. The first thing I see is the not-self, because that's what people are. If I look at this person's design, I know what they're living out. Always trying to prove themselves worthy, always holding on to things that aren't good for them, always in a hurry, can't stand pressure, and they think about stuff that doesn't matter. That's them. That's them. It's so easy to see somebody for what they are. All you have to do is look at their openness. Because it's that openness that conditions the way their mind works. Your mind. It's the basis upon which the mind makes decisions, which means what? That you make decisions based on what you're not. Who you're not. And you get a life that's not yours. I mean, you get a life that's not yours. When you look at this chart, 50% of humanity, just over 50% of humanity are emotional. The solar plex center is a very powerful thing. And it's never still. It's always moving. It moves in a wave, from hope to pain and back again. And you see, if you have a defined emotional system, that the only thing that is going to save you in this life is understanding that there is no truth in the now. No truth in the now. Everything requires patience. It all requires time. Because time is the most powerful thing in an emotional being's life. No truth in the now. And it means for 50% of humanity that the way to make a decision is over time, not in the moment. Every emotional being knows the disaster of making a decision on their emotional wave. You see, this is somebody who is an emotional generator. And that means when you come up to that person and you say, I love you, I want you, and their generative response is, yeah, that would be great, they cannot jump in that moment because they're emotional generators. They're going to sample. They'll have to see them again another day and another day. And slowly, through their feelings, over time, they will get the clarity that they need. But if the mind was handling that, it would all be about what they're not what they are. And all the beauty of what they are would immediately be lost. You see, as long as you're making decisions with your mind, you're never going to be free. You're never going to be free to see. You're never going to be free of the fear that you are responsible for maintaining your ability to exist. The vanity of mind. This knowledge is just about making decisions as yourself. Every type has its strategy. Each design has its place of authority. And the thing that's so important about this knowledge is that it's not about believing me or anybody else that tells you about it. It isn't. This is not sheep knowledge. This is wolf knowledge. You see, the only way that you're going to understand what it is to be correct is to experiment with it. It doesn't take long to find out. You experiment with your strategy and authority. You hold on to that temptation of your mind to run your life. It really makes a mess of things. And it doesn't really know. It can't. But there is a place within everyone that will give you, with absolute clarity, your truth in that moment. Because it's you. It's not coming out of your openness. It's not coming out of the conditioning of the other. It's not all those fears that you've been baited with since you came into the world. When I look at somebody's chart, I don't think of adults. I look at them as if they were a baby. And then I understand what happened to them. You think about this baby with its open splenic center. You know? This baby comes into the world and it's afraid. This is the immune system. This is an immune system that operates inconsistently under conditioning. So they're afraid. They don't have this real comfort being here on this plane. And let's say that their mother defines this. Let's say that their mother brings the 16 or whatever it is, the 27, and makes a definition and colors all this in. This child becomes totally dependent on that being. Will shriek in horror when the aura is broken and it loses the security that its mother can give it. And then you see that person for the rest of their life. You don't have to see them as a baby anymore. You have to see that they'll hold on to things that are so bad for them. The battered wife, and you say to the battered wife, well, why don't you just leave the son of a bitch? And she says, no, but he's not that bad. Undefined spleen. You see, we are deeply, deeply, deeply conditioned through these open centers, and they drive your mind. They drive the way you think. They drive the way in which you look at the world. So you don't see the world according to how you are intended to see it. And you don't live in the world the way in which you are equipped to live successfully. Because you are lost in the openness. Lost. See, the most important thing about this knowledge is that it brings you an incredible gift. Inner authority. The inner authority to be your own authority. You spend your whole life bowing down to the authority of so many things that have no right to be your authority. No right. Human design is about differentiation. It is about the potential of uniqueness. We are each here to manifest our uniqueness in this life. Not to be homogenized into the same lump with the same problems and the same diseases and the same thoughts. We're here to live out who we are. And when you live by your own authority, no one has authority over you. Not man, not God. It is your own. It has nothing to do with your mind. It is to understand that we are a form principle living in a form plane, this material plane. It is the vehicle that knows how to navigate all of this. It is the vehicle that carries your genetics, that builds your brain, that fills your lungs. It is the vehicle that makes love. It is the vehicle that does all these things. It is the life. And if we can surrender to that and sit back as passengers, wow, what a view. How different it is to see with a mind that is no longer disturbed. Strategy and authority. This is what human design is all about. it is a deeply complex knowledge. And yet, its gift is that its surface and the tools of the surface for anyone are simple. But it takes the courage to enter into the experiment. Because only then do you find out. Only then can you see for yourself and begin the journey of shedding the not-self in your life. 7 years. It takes 7 years. It takes 7 years to change the cells in the body. It's a 7-year cellular cycle. It's a process. To cleanse yourself of that being that was created out of not you. And everything that's come to that not you life. Your lovers, your friends, your work. It's all been conditioned. All of it. Decision making. Strategy and authority. You want to find out what human design is? Live yours. Just live yours. Try it. You'll see. It's an incredible thing. And it changes your life. Okay. Nice to share that with you. I haven't done that in a long time. And thank you all for coming. Saturday is not a great traffic day on the web, but I'm glad you all managed to come. And do take care. Bye for now.